All right, welcome to STA250 Fall 2014. My name is Josh Fix. I just wanted to kind of give you a quick run through. I know not being able to meet face to face and talk about things, or more so probably hear someone's voice explain what you're reading inside of the announcements and the syllabus makes things somewhat difficult. So this video is basically designed just to give you a quick run through. I'm going to do my very best to be as quick as possible and only talk about the things that I think that need to be brought to conversation. So let's see. Let me slide up there. All right, so start on the announcements page. Every time you load into Blackboard, you're going to see the announcements page. I'll put the newest announcements at the top, so you can see last night I sent out an announcement to everybody regarding just kind of remind you what you should be doing right now and where am I with getting a video posted and so forth. Also, what came available this morning was your Chapter 1 quiz. You have 7 days to complete this. That means that this assignment is due 1 week from today at midnight at 11:59. So I know some of you are thinking, oh my goodness, there's already a quiz posted and I haven't even got my book or anything along those lines. Don't be in a panic. You have 7 days, and if need be on this first one, we'll look at time, extra time as needed. Alright, so then I have several announcements below that, and I'm not going to go through here and read every one of these and go through and do what you can do, but what I want you to do is please make sure that you take the time to read through each one of these announcements. This is where I communicate with you. This is where I make sure that, things that are going on are as clear as possible, and so this is your go-to. So you've got, what's going on the first week, methods of communication. Methods of communication I want to say is please just make sure that you in your email in the status or in the subject line, just make sure that you put down what course that you're in. So if you're in Stat 250 OLC, put that. If you're in Stat 250 OLD, put that. This helps me because of several sections that I teach, and as you can see that I'm just an adjunct professor, and I actually teach full-time math at Lee County High School. So, you know, I want this class to be efficient. I want you to have the best experience possible, and I want you to get something out of it. And any little bit of time I can save will help us do all those things. Quizzes and tests. So each quiz and test that you take, you'll have 2 hours. These are open note, open book, open, calculator, but not open friend. All right. TU has an honor code. It is my expectation and TU's expectation that any quiz or test that you complete will be completed with your own knowledge, knowledge that you've gained from books, knowledge that you've gained from other resources, but not from a friend sitting there at the computer or helping you, or not from a friend just taking the quiz or test for you. Like I said a minute ago, for any quiz or test you'll have 7 days to complete, and when we get the course pacing chart, get to that spot, I'll address that a little more closely and kind of talk about that. But essentially, if something opens at 5 a.m. on Wednesday, you have until midnight the following Wednesday, so 7 days to complete that. Actually, more than 7 days. All right, in the grade book, what I've done, and this causes a terrible amount of confusion, I've created 2 columns. What has happened in the past before I created 2 columns is that students were in gradebook, and the only grade they saw was the grade for the work that they had completed, which is traditionally what you would get. Like if you were in a class and you're going along through the class, a face-to-face class, and the professor said, your grade is, as of right now, your grade is a B, then people would be like, sweet, I've got a B, I don't have to do anything else. And so then they start missing assignments, and we get to the end of the semester and they have an F, and they're like, how did I have an F? I had a B at midterm. So what I've done is I've created 2 columns. The first column is your grade including all assignments, missing if you have any. This column enters a 0 for all assignments that you have not completed or attempted this semester. Okay, so the key thing is that column right there includes every quiz, every test, everything that you're going to have all the way through the semester. So the first part of the semester, your grade's going to be like a 3% or a 5%, and then it'll go up to 10%. But it's going to look like you're failing. But you're not failing because the second column tells you your grade for the work that you have completed. So what you're trying to do is by the end of the semester, those two columns are going to balance out. They're going to get to the exact same number at the end of the semester once you take the final exam. So I apologize if that causes any confusion. Hopefully what I just said will help. Like I said, it was because of previous things happening and it being a face or an online class. Calculator, if you choose to go with the TI-84 route of getting a calculator, you can rent them online instead of buying one. Please let me know if that code doesn't work. But please note, I have set this class up now so that you can either use a calculator or you can use easycalculation.com. So when you go into when you go into a suggested homework assignment and you look at the handout that I provide for that, I have specific directions and videos on how to do the assignments with or the problems with a calculator, and I have specific set of directions on how to do the problems with easycalculation.com. So when we come to that spot where you start needing the TI-84 calculator or you need easy calculation, you'll see very clearly that I have the two different types. I can't stress enough to you how important it is for you to check behind yourself. In Blackboard, like let's say I have a short answer question and you misspell or leave a letter off of a word. Blackboard sees that as being incorrect. So it's very important that after a quiz or after a test, you go back through at some point and just double check that the answer that you have is, counted incorrect because it's actually wrong. It's not counted incorrect because you misspelled something or you put the wrong punctuation or whatever it be. If that's the case, please send me an email with the title of the assignment, like quiz 2.1 number 4, and say something along the lines of, could you take a look and see if I can get credit for that? So just a quick little message, just right to the point, exactly what you're looking for. Please don't do this. Don't send me a message that says, yeah, I just took the quiz and I got one wrong and I think I should have got it right. Okay, that means I have to go back through, figure out which quiz you just took. I've got to go back through and scan it to look for the question you're looking for. So please be very specific. Say quiz 2.1 number 5, I believe I should get credit, or looks like it was counted wrong for punctuation, or whatever your assumption is for the situation. All right, thank you. We are not using Axiom anymore. Instead we will be using ProctorU, and your final exam will be with ProctorU, and we'll talk about that when we get to the syllabus here. Alright, the next tab is the assignments tab, the test quiz assignments. And before I leave the announcement page, let me just say this. If I change anything in Blackboard, if anything comes up in Blackboard as far as being new or different, I will post an announcement. So it's not going to be like, oh my gosh, did he add something? Okay, I'll talk about how you know if things are there, and if I do add something, it'll be an announcement and you'll get an email. Okay, so right now underneath the test quiz assignment tab, you have two things going on. You have your opening activities, which are just some basic little things for you to do for me. I don't really think I need to say anything about those, but some basic little things that you need to do for me. I do count those as a grade. They do go into your grade book, so for taking the time to do that, that'd be a good idea. Alright, then you have topic number 1 folder. So this is where the meat and potatoes will start. This is the information that we will cover for test number 1. So right now you can see is that you'd come in here and you say, okay, why don't you go ahead and get started? This is chapter 1, suggested homework. So click on that. And at this point, I have listed out the objectives, and the way I have this course designed is I have broken it down by topic, basically by steps. And so to make it more convenient for you, you could either just have this screen right here with your information listed as you're going down. But what I've also done is I've provided a PDF. So this screen can be opened up as a PDF, and then you can print this out. And the benefit of that is that you can check things off as you're going through. Okay, I read that section, I watched those videos, I did those math problems. I read this section, I watched that video, did those problems. I read this section, watched the videos, did those problems. So it's broken down. You can keep your notes or your suggested homework, listed out this way. My recommendation is this. This is an open note, open book test or class. So if you go through and do your suggested homework and you keep it organized by section and by, as you're working your way through, then when you go to the quiz, you've already got your notes all taken. All you got to do is refer back to your problems you already completed. Same thing when you're doing the test. You've already got your notes for your suggested homework. You've already got any corrections from your quizzes, made, and it's all written out, nice and organized. And so when you're taking the test, you've got your notes sitting right there for you to reference. All right, let's kind of bounce back into the main folder. All right, so then, here I am. I've got all these suggested homework assignments. The quizzes, as they come available, will be in the same folder. You can see the difference between the two. So you click on the quiz. Remember, once you start a quiz, you may not back out. So please make sure that you have a 2-hour segment of your time to sit down and take this quiz. They will not take you 2 hours, but I am giving you 2 hours. I think the average time for most quizzes are probably 45 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on the student. And the quizzes vary from anywhere from 10 questions to 30 questions, and it's not 30 difficult questions. It's a 30 questions of a mixture between multiple choice, true, false, fill in the blank, and etc. Alright, so that kind of talks about that folder, and like I said, as you get going, more of these topic folders will show up, and please don't hesitate to ask questions if you have any about that. Syllabus. Alright, so first of all, you got a note right here. There is no need for you to print the syllabus off. This is not going to be a surprise. I'm not going to pull the syllabus down and change it, and then all of a sudden you're going to be, get a lesser grade because of the fact that something changed. Couple things. Cell phone too is right there on the screen. You got my email. Thomas University asks that you use Thomas University's emails, so please make sure that our interaction comes through your Thomas University assigned email. If you're having troubles getting that set up on your phone, please contact the support that TU provided. Support can be found in the Contacts tab, so if you click on that, and then you can find information for the help desk, student support services, and so forth. Oops. Okay, so I don't have office hours, but I do check my email in the morning and the afternoon. Please understand that I know to say that I respond within 48 hours seems absolutely absurd. Uh, here's the situation. If I do my full-time job and then I come home and I've got papers to grade, I've got my family, my son, my wife, my sanity, I I try to scan the emails and take care of the ones that are most important right off, so that way I can get you on track and keep you working forward. But then keep in mind that I also have several people taking this class, and and if 5 people email me or 10 people email me, it takes me a minute to get through those. So I do work in the order that they come. But I do also use my own discretion to make a decision whether or not I can maybe answer your email a little bit later because you were just asking for points on a quiz. If your question was, hey, I got locked out of a quiz because my internet went down, obviously I'm going to try to address your question as soon as possible to get you back up and running. I understand the number one thing about this class is I understand that each and every one of you have a life outside of this class. Many of you are working full time like myself, and you're going back to school to better yourself and to take that next step in your career. And I appreciate that, and I want you to know that I will work with that and do my very best to support that. So I'll be as timely as possible. If there is an emergency, so let's say like you're like taking a quiz and the quiz locks up and your internet goes out or whatever it is, and you need me to reopen a quiz, then you might want to try sending me a text message and just say, hey, I was taking quiz 2.1, my internet went out, can you please reset it? with my respect to your time, I understand that you may have said, okay, I'm going to take this quiz tonight when I get home from work because I've got 2 hours and I don't have another segment of 2 hours for another 3 days. So I understand that, and I will do my very best to respond to you and to get back to you as soon as possible. Otherwise, email's the best. Send me an email. Okay. Calling me to talk about what's going on with the class is good if you have questions, but it's my days are full. So send an email so we can set up a time to talk, and then we can follow that. Hey, this time worked for me. This time works for you. Hey, so we'll talk at that time, and we know when we're going to talk. It's kind of like office hours in some ways. All right, so the method of instruction, I'm going to let you read this. Basically, the idea is that when I built this course, I made the tests first. And then once I made the tests, I made the quizzes. And then once I made the quizzes, I looked in the book and I said, here are the suggested homework problems that will help you do well on the quizzes. And then since the quizzes were made from the tests, then we know those quizzes will be checkpoints for you to see if you're ready to go on the test. I can't stress to you enough, you need to work the suggested homework problems. Unless you were just a math whiz, if you try to take the quizzes right off, you're probably going to struggle. Um, I do want you to understand one thing, and that is that the idea with a quiz is that you take a quiz, and I will give you the correct answers after the quiz. So when you get done taking a quiz, you will know which ones you got right and which ones you got wrong, and you will also know the correct answers. What I ask is for you to do corrections to those quizzes. You can print that quiz off and you can make corrections right on that quiz. So that way you have made notes for yourself, so when you're taking the test, you're ready to go. You know what to do. You have this list of problems that you know are going to be very, very similar on the test. If there's a quiz problem you can't figure out, so once you've looked through the quiz and you're like, I just on quiz 2.1 I cannot figure out number 3. I've looked it over, I've looked back in the book, I've rewatched videos, it's not coming to me. Send me an email. Say specifically, on quiz 2.1 I'm having problems with number 3. Could you please help? I will either give you an email response, I'll create a video that will help guide you through the problem, but I will assist you in some way to provide that feedback at that point. So that way, when it comes time to take the test, you've already done your studying. You already have what you need to be able to take the test. On the tests, you will only be told which questions you got right and which ones you got wrong. You will not be given the correct answers to the test because your final exam is made up from questions from your tests. So I'll say that one more time. Your final exam is made up from questions from your tests. So when you get done with your tests, how do you study for your final exam? You go back over and you rework your problems on your tests. Now obviously I'm a little less likely to give you the correct answers to the test because then that means you're ready to go for the final exam. But I'll guide you, I'll push you in the right direction, I'll give you some assistance to kind of see what you were doing wrong and go from there. Alright, requirements: computer, internet, headphones or speakers. You're going to need some way to talk with ProctorU. So on your final exam, you're required to set that up with ProctorU. So you will have to set up an appointment. You'll have to sit in front of your computer with a webcam, so the ProctorU person can see you and can see that you are the one taking the test. This is just a safety protocol that's put in place by Thomas University. If you have any questions, look down further in the syllabus. I will address that later in class a little more thoroughly, and you can also just talk with someone at TU and to find out more information if the information I provided isn't enough. Let me know and I can guide you in the right direction. Alright, homework. So course requirements. Homework will not be submitted. You may ask me any question about homework. I will help you with anything with the homework, but I do not want to see it. You don't need to email it to me. Inevitably, someone will send me an email 2 weeks into the class and they'll say, I don't see any place to submit my homework. And that means they obviously haven't read the syllabus and they obviously haven't listened to this video. Quizzes and exams, tests are the only thing that you're going to submit. You'll submit those through the assignment tab or the quiz tab. There are a couple of assignments but the main thing is I'll show you those on the course pacing chart. Those assignments are either submitted via email or they're submitted via soft chalk, which is just basically an assignment that you'll click on a link in Blackboard. Quizzes, we already talked about 7 days to take them, 2 hours for each quiz to take. Tests, same thing, 7 days to take them once they open, and you have 2 hours to take the test. Alright, so look, late penalties, here's the deal. You know, I understand your schedule's crazy. I give you 7 days to complete, hopefully, so that way you can allot time. If something comes up and you're not going to be able to take something, you need to, if you email me before that happens and let me know, say, you know, whatever came up, I'm not going to be able to take the test tonight or the quiz tonight, you know, can I have a little bit of extension? That email itself will then wipe you out from getting late fees, or late penalties, excuse me, on that assignment. No email means that in my mind you are tardy, you are late on that assignment or that quiz or that test, and therefore you know a 10% penalty could apply. That means 10% off of the grade. So if you made an 80, that means it goes down to a 70. Okay, so please keep that in mind. I'm looking for communication. I'm looking for you to communicate with me the same way that you would your boss. You don't have to explain everything to me. I don't need you know to tell me that you know the world was coming to an end for you that day and so forth. Just as simple as I got caught up. I wasn't able to. I'm not going to be able to take the quiz tonight. It's due tonight. Can I have another day? Can I have another 2 days? That communication is what I'm looking for. All right, final exam. Here it is. It's listed out. I give you a huge window to take the final exam between December 3rd and December. That is not right, because that is December 3rd is not correct. So whatever I'll get that to get that fixed on the syllabus. So whatever the week of finals, it's basically open from Monday to Thursday, and so you can take it anywhere in that window since it's an online. I will post more information on that, but here's the information about ProctorU that if you're interested or if you need it. Test 60% of your I'm sorry, your assessment, your grade, 60% comes from tests and special assignments, basically just tests. 20% of your grade comes from other assignments and quizzes, and your final exam is cumulative and counts for 20% of your grade. Now, just for the heads up here, basically we have 20 quizzes and other assignments total for the semester. That means that if you take a quiz and you fail it, that failed quiz only counts for 1% of your total grade. However, we have 6 tests, and those 6 tests take up 60% of your grade. So therefore, take the 60 divided by the 6. That means every test you take is worth 10% of your grade. What I'm trying to say is failing a test is a big deal. Failing a quiz is not a big deal. So make sure you learn from your mistakes on the quizzes and you're ready to go when you take a test. So often I see people make 70, 70, 70 on the quizzes. So they're making C's, but they're not making B's, they're not making A's on the quiz. They don't ask me a single question, no email from them, nothing. They get to the test, they take the test, and they make a C or they make a D on it, make a 60 on it. And then later on they're like, you know, hey, I'm failing. I'm wondering what I can do to bring up my grade. My thing I'm asking right now is if you want to have a B or an A in this class when we finish up, please make sure before you open a test that you understand what you got wrong on your quizzes. Alright, there's your information about the late penalty. Please just communicate. And some more information on the final exam. Alright, so that's the syllabus in a nutshell. Obviously I skipped over some stuff, so please read over it. You'll notice inside the syllabus tab that I don't have the course pacing chart completed. I had 30 minutes this morning to make this video or to make the course pacing chart. I thought that the video would be more valuable for you at this point so that some of you could kind of ease your nerves about what's expected, how's class going to go, where do I find things, and so forth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a course pacing chart from my fall class 2013. So this is not your course pacing chart, but it will look very, very similar to this pacing chart once I get it posted, probably tomorrow at some time. Okay, this is a sheet that you'll want to print out. I will send an email with this attached to it. There'll be no questions about what your course pacing chart when I have it ready, okay? Um, Please make sure you print this out. This is your Bible. This is what your final grade is made up of at the end of the semester. These are the assignments. So, opening date on this particular quiz, closing date on this particular quiz. This is the quiz that opened up for you guys this morning. So you got 7 days to take that quiz. You got quiz 2.2. So these are the things you'll submit. My recommendation to everybody would be is once you've taken this quiz, write down the grade on the side. Make a note right here that you've taken this. And then go on to the suggested homework for 2.1. Make a note when you take the quiz. Okay? When you get to section 2.3, when you finish 2.2, you get to section 2.3, you'll notice that you have some assignments to complete. These are not your suggested homework. These are additional assignments helping you learn how to use Microsoft Excel, and then basically just kind of submitting some problems that you know are from your textbook, but basically just submitting them a different way. So it's just a different kind of assignment. Instead of taking a quiz, it's a chance for me to collect information in a different way. So, and then you'll keep on chugging through. Like I said, just read right here. This is the guide. This is like what you're doing. Any additional information you need off of this sheet, you will look to the suggested homework sheet. You will go to section 2.1. So if I needed to understand, like maybe let's go 2.3. So maybe on 2.3, I didn't understand what this meant by email using Microsoft Excel and what's SoftChalk. And so I would go back to my syllabus. Excuse me. I would go back to my Blackboard. I would go into my assignments. I would go to section 2.3. And right here, as you're reading through this step by step, it says, you know, do this, read this, do that. Get to number 7 and it says email submission assignment. Page 86, number 14. Using complete. Okay, so it's right there for you to reference, for you to look at, and so that way there's no question about what's the step-by-step procedure, where do you go, and so forth. All right. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. It's not like I'm saying you can't ask me. I'm just wanting to point out where things are found, where to reference, and so forth. So you're not like, well, where do I find that information? So these are the places: suggested homework and course pacing chart. Alright, you scroll on through, I'll have dates listed when we don't have class, so forth and so on, and you checking things off until you get to the very end and you got your final exam. Alright, let's go back to Blackboard. Syllabus, content. Your content folder is what I'll reference in your suggested homework. This is where you find your materials for like the videos, the eProfessor videos, or the whatever videos that it is, lecture videos and so forth. Somebody, and I put this in my announcement, somebody noticed that at the bottom of this folder there's a PDF of chapter 1. I only do that for the first 2 chapters because, you know, obviously if I did that, the textbook company found out, they'd be very upset because the whole idea, that's how they can make money, right? So I apologize. I did that for convenience for people whose textbooks aren't in yet, so they don't get too far behind, but it's only for chapter 1 and chapter 2. Discussion board, I think the main thing I want to say about discussion board is this is not a place for you to post questions that you think I'm going to come back and respond to immediately. If you have a question for me, you need to please email me. However, what I will do is a common question that somebody has, I will post it here. So if you want to browse through here every once in a while and look through, you can. But I'll be completely honest with you, the discussion board is basically a spot where we do some opening activities, and that's pretty much it. You know, I haven't built into this course the student interaction piece. So, you know, you can kind of look at that, and some of you might say, yay, I just dislike discussion boards and having to go in there and respond to somebody else's post. Others of you might be like, boo, I think that's valuable. I like to go in there and respond and get other people's feedback. That is not something I have built into this course at this time. So you basically are using the discussion board to share some stuff about yourself so that other classmates might be able to make a connection, and then you and that classmate might be able to make some connections as needed. Alright, contacts. This is just a list of frequently used contacts at Thomas University, and I think everything else is pretty straightforward. My grades is where you guys will go to find your grades, which nothing shows up for me because I'm the teacher. All right, so that's our quick run through. I think I went 29 minutes. It's amazing. I wanted to go 15. Please don't hesitate to email me. If you're getting started and you're confused, set up an appointment with me to talk on the phone. Email me and say, hey, can we talk on the phone? Can I find a time to talk with you? Just like you would with office hours. And we can sit down and talk and look through things and go from there. Please don't hesitate to ask questions. I am here to make sure this semester goes well and to make sure that the money that you're spending, you know, equates out to an A or a B with all your hard work. All right. Thanks so much. I look forward to a great semester.